Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. Today we're broadcasting from the port of Walla Walla, and my guest is City Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Jim Barrow. Thank you so much for being here, Jim. We appreciate it.
Anna, my pleasure to see you yet again. It's almost like you're a resident.
Well, I do love being here, and I come often as I can. You completed a public survey recently, and you have some good news about improvements you're making for the streets.
Well, yes, not quite so recently. We try to do this, Anna, every year or so, and the most recent public survey in response to, what are you happy about? What do you think we need to be working harder on in terms of our local government? The two top topics, the two things that people mention most often were, predictably, because we've heard about it for some years, the condition of our streets. And the other topic, which is a newer one, is the people's desire, strong desire, about having a municipal pool to replace the pool that was shut down some 10 years ago or so.
Oh yeah, my girls and I love to swim, so.
Well, and we have a very...
Apparently we're not the only ones.
No, we've got an excellent high school swim team, as well as some other swim professionals, some other dedicated swimmers in the community. So having a swimming pool that's available to the public, not to mention our kids, is a biggie. So those two topics were front and center. And I'm absolutely delighted, both as a member of our council and frankly as a resident of our city, that these two things that are so important to our residents, not just to our visitors, are making immense progress. In fact, it's kind of a refreshing reality. For the first time in 20 years plus, people are now complaining more about the minor inconveniences of having to go around the street repair project than they are the streets. The streets are
it's always
improving.
Something.
Yeah, the streets are improving at a very visible rate. Our city staff, our public works people are doing a marvelous job, not just fixing potholes and patching yesterday's problems, but in fact repairing and replacing streets and infrastructure, the water and wastewater pipes underneath them. So that's a great step forward, and it's a continuation of the last few years. And that particular problem, which has been number one for years, is not number one anymore. It's number two, but it's getting better. The other one was the desire to have a public pool again, and our residents this past year approved a bond measure to fund a municipal pool. It has particularly children-oriented activities in addition to the traditional rectangular pool that our swimming teams would be using. And that pool is, as we speak, more than just a thought, or even a hole in the ground. It's being restored at a remarkable rate. The contractor's doing a great job. And we anticipate by Memorial Day next year, we'll be getting wet again.
Well, this is wonderful. I'm glad to hear these good things. Now, for these ongoing larger projects, I know the pool had the bond. The city streets, are you coming along financially all right on those projects? Because those can be costly, especially when you start digging up and dealing with the old leaky pipes. Oh, my gosh.
It's an excellent question, and the answer is yes. Fortunately, Walla Walla, like most of Washington and the rest of our country, is coming out, I guess, of that so-called Great Recession that we've suffered in the last few years, and so our revenues, primarily from somewhat to an extent from our property tax, but more from our sales tax, have improved to the point where we're able to dedicate a good bit more money to annual replacement and maintenance of our streets.
What a relief.
Yeah, well, approximately $4 million a year and about 2 miles of new road, effectively. So that's great news. And on the subject of the pool, of course, besides the bond money, our revenue from those sources has enabled us to put in a little bit more money to provide some of the enhancements that we did not choose to put in the bond Things are much, much better economically, and that's allowed us to put our money where our people's priorities are.
Well, whether it's your home or your city, when you're doing financially well enough to make some of these improvements, that's just such a good feeling for everyone. So I'm so glad to hear this good news. Jim, thank you so much.
Dana, thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure, and be sure to take home some good wine with you when you go.
Oh, thank you. This is Jim Barrow. He's the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Walla Walla. I'm Dana Cowley, and thank you for watching Charter Local Edition Northwest.